Here we go, we're the orange army. Here we go, we're the orange army. All right, a very warm welcome to all you YouTube followers out there. I am your host Thakur Mani Singh, and welcome to this brand new segment, the Orange Army Fan Cam, the Fan TV. And who better than Sanchit Desai to have on as our very first guest? And Sanchit is one of the sweetest person you'll see across the Bharat Army IPL circuit and the IPL fan forum. He's one of my closest friends. He's a Super Royals, which shows in the jersey that he's wearing. And it's an absolute pleasure having him on for the very first episode of our show today. Hello, Sanchit Bhai. How are you doing?
Good, Manish. Thank you, first of all, for having me on this show. Sunrisers Hyderabad, I always thought fondly about Sunrisers Hyderabad. They were most likable franchise ever since they came into this tournament back in 2013. And what better way to represent this particular match by representing Rajasthan Royals in this fixture? And it is always a special fixture because I know that what kind of fans, loyal fans this franchise have, and you are the perfect example for it, Manish. So really looking forward to this match and especially this show as well.
Well, the same can be said about you, Sanchit Bhai. I have seen you show such passion for the Rajasthan Royals, and both our teams seem to be in jeopardy at the moment. Both our teams lurking at the bottom half of the table. But before we proceed to have a conversation about tomorrow's game, well, I have some huge news to break to all our fans. Like we all know, David Warner has been removed as the skipper of the franchise, and it's Kane Williamson who is going to take over. And there was a statement released by the team that they're also going to change the overseas combination of the team. So that might mean that David Warner might get rested for, let's say, 2 or 3 games, or if we continue playing well without him, he might as well not play for the rest of the season. So huge news coming from the SRH camp, and I wouldn't say that it's a news that one as an SRH fan wouldn't have expected at all, because the situation, the position that we are in currently, I think we all, somewhere at the back of our minds, we all saw this coming, given Warner's poor form and given the fact that Kane Williamson has been brilliant for us in 2018 as well. Speaking of which, Sanchit Bhai, I think Rajasthan Royals have been in a similar kind of situation as well. Back in 2018, we had Ajinkya Rahane captaining the side, and you guys reached the top four. Of course, both Steve Smith and David Warner were facing a one-year ban back then. And then in 2019, you guys had Steve Smith back as the skipper. So now you guys have vested faith in someone like Sanju Samson, who's a very young prospect. So how do you think this transition has been from Ajinkya Rahane to Steve Smith and Sanju Samson? How do you think it has affected the overall mindset of the franchise?
Well, certainly, to be honest, in 2018, both our franchises were impacted badly because of our skippers being banned for 1 year from that franchise. But interestingly, both our franchises did well in that season. You guys went on to the final, and we qualified for the playoffs in the very first season after a comeback. So it went good. But in 2019, we faced that dilemma of whether to continue with Kane Williamson, the captain, or and whether to continue with Ajinkya Rahane, the captain, in place of the returning skipper Steve Smith. And you guys went in with David Warner, backing Warner in that season, and we went the other way of backing Ajinkya Rahane over Steve Smith. So since then, I think the Royals camp did have a couple of bad seasons because of this move. I think the overseas players might have been impacted more than the Indian players because at that time Rajasthan Royals were not doing well in terms of a team performance. The matches that we won were solely back on the individual brilliances rather than the team brilliances. So the captaincy pressure was immense on someone like Ajinkya Rahane, and we had to do something. So there was no other option than to give it back to someone like Steve Smith, who had a good record in that season, and he did manage to finish it off well. So we thought that all would be well in that particular season, but unfortunately, in 2020 we finished at the bottom of the table under Steve Smith captaincy, and we had to sacrifice that overseas spot. This is the problem that you have with overseas captains. If they are not performing well, then you have no other choice than to strip them of the captaincy and bring in someone else. But if there is an Indian captain, then there is no limitation of the four overseas rules. So I think Kolkata Knight Riders might have been struggling with the same kind of a dilemma right now with Owen Morgan that we did with Steve Smith in back in 2020. So I think really excited to see Sanju Samson being made the captain. I know it hasn't been a promising start to the season for us, given the injuries that we have and lots of players returning home in this tough and difficult times that we are currently living in. But I think the future is bright. So really excited to see the partnership between Kumar Sangakkara, someone like Kumar Sangakkara. I know that all of you SRH fans rate him highly because of his relationship with Tom Moody. So really excited to see how the relationship between Sangakkara and Sanju Samson develop over the years, because next year is a crucial one for us, the mega auction. So really looking forward to see how this entire thing develops and hoping the results will come soon enough.
Well, yes, certainly it was a very bold call giving Sanju Samson the captaincy after having dropped Steve Smith, after having released him. But hopefully it brings out the best in him. So far, it hasn't been a good start for the Royals, of course, but so has it been the same case with the Sunrisers Hyderabad. So hopefully these changes are for the good, and probably we step up and up the ante in the games to come. So moving forward, Sanchit bhai, what do you think the team combination is going to be for tomorrow's game? Of course, we Sunrisers Hyderabad fans, with the shock that we have received today, have clearly shown that we are going to, sort of change the combination going into tomorrow's match. I think, of course, David Warner is going to go out, and someone like Jason Roy or Jason Holder, one of the two Jasons, might come in, given the circumstances. So what do you think of your team? Do you think you need any chopping or changing, or are you satisfied with the playing 11 you had in the previous encounter?
Well, unfortunately for the overseas players, we only have four available players to select from in the squad. So that is really an interesting thing. So I don't see any changes in the overseas, but I think there might be a case for dropping someone like Shivam Dubey in the middle order for maybe Mahipal Lomro, because he has had a good season in the domestic circuit back in January and February, and he plays spin really well, and he could be the bolster that we need in that middle order. Shivam Dubey is a fantastic player, but it is clearly not working for him in this particular setup. And the only case where Shivam Dubey retains his place is that he bowls 2 or 3 overs, which he isn't doing right now. So there is no I don't think that Shivam Dubey might be able to retain his place after what has happened in the game against Mumbai Indians in the middle order. So clearly the middle order problem is still rising for Rajasthan Royals, and possibly Mahipal Lomror would be making his way in. And in terms of bowling, I would say that we actually need a leg spinner at Delhi, because we have seen what Rahul Chahar did to us in that game. So maybe possibly one of the left arm pacers. It is quite unusual having three left arm pacers in your side. I think Sunrisers Hyderabad might know well about left arm pacers impact in the side, but it has been working well. But I think if we want to adapt to horses for courses a kind of an approach, then maybe someone like Jaidev Unadkat might be bench for a leg spinner. I'm not sure if Shreyash Gopal makes his way back into the 11 after his form currently in the last season as well as in the game that he played recently. So I'm excited to see someone like Mayank Markhande given a chance, or even a mystery spinner like KC Karyappa. But both of them names actually excite me. So looking forward to see a leg spinner in the 11 after a long time. So that these are the changes that I would like to see ideally. I'm not sure what the team management thinks of this.
Well, yes, despite the fact that injuries to foreign players have plagued your season so far, I think, Sanchit, you mentioned some great Indian domestic names in there, the likes of KC Karyappa or someone like Mayank Markande, who showed great potential in previous seasons as well. So those are few interesting names, and SRH batsmen have particularly had problems against leg spin and spin in general, I would say. Hopefully they make the right changes to the team tomorrow as well, and we come in with the right combination. And speaking of this particular encounter, when you look at this RR SRH games, when I speak about the 2020 season, we sort of had that Twitter war going on. Rian Parag doing his Dio dance, and then you guys telling us to have biryani, and then we giving it back to you in the reverse fixture. I think things are quite spicy after those two games, and I think it's going to be a great encounter given the plight of both the teams, and both teams are in desperate need of a win, especially more so, I would say, for my team, because we just have the one solitary win against Punjab Kings, and you guys, of course, will also need those two crucial points to catapult you to the upper half of the table. So quickly moving forward, Sanchit Bhai, do you have any questions for me? It's always great hearing from you as well whenever I join you for different fan activities across different social media platforms. Is there anything you want to add?
Well, there is one interesting question that I would like to ask, not just you, but all the SRH fans, if I come across, and that is based on the breaking news that we just had today. And as we know that there is a mega auction next season, and let's face it, we kind of expected either one of Kane Williamson or David Warner to be retained from the team management, because we know that there is a rule of only two overseas players to be retained. So one of them is going to be Rashid Khan. So do you think that this is actually going to be a full stop on David Warner's career as an SRH player, or do you think that he is going to be bought back into the auction, or maybe possibly joining the SRH backroom staff in the next season?
Well, that is a really interesting question, Sanchit Bhai. And I should say, with this bold call that the management has made today, we have made our intentions very clear that, boss, we are going to rely on Kane Williamson as the leader of the pack. There has been a lot of talk, Sanchit Bhai, about Kane Williamson being the spearhead, the focal point of the leadership group within the Sunrisers team. And I think this call was the right call given the current situation that we're in, not only because of the fact that Kane Williamson is an excellent leader, but he's also shown that with his batting performances. You know, in the previous game, if he hadn't scored those 20, 30 odd runs in at a strike rate of around 200, we wouldn't have had even the slightest of chances against teams like CSK or Punjab Kings for that matter. It is because of his inclusion that our middle order has also looked much more balanced. Now, when I speak of David Warner and this retention conundrum, I think it's quite clear. In fact, it is much, much clearer now that Kane Williamson is the man who is going to get retained alongside Rashid Khan. Because you see, David Warner is now 35, and of course, he has, let us say he has another 2 3 years on his hand. Of course, he is an SRH legend. I have always said this, that David Warner, the name personifies with the team Sunrisers Hyderabad because of his immense contributions. He is a guy who's won us 3 orange caps. He led us to that victory back in 2016, that championship. So I think this is a blessing in disguise for us, moreover, because if you look at this current situation, Warner's form hasn't been great. He's currently struggling with a groin injury as well. He isn't in the tally of runs. So I think in 2022, when we have this mega auction, once we have retained Kane and Rashid, I can't say this for sure, but franchises might look for younger prospects and prospects who have performed in the Big Bash instead of someone like David Warner, who is at the fag end of his career. So if that is the case, I think there is no doubt that the Sunrisers will buy back someone like David Warner, because he's the pocket dynamo that we so much love. And like I first said, he's that one person. When you talk of MS Dhoni, you say CSK. When you talk of Rohit Sharma, you say MI. When you talk of Sunrisers Hyderabad, you take the name David Warner. So it is going to be a huge dilemma if we have to let him go. It's certainly going to be a tough call, but I don't think that is going to happen no matter what the price tag is. I think we are going to buy him back. I think we can put a price tag of around 10 crore on his name, given his IPL record. He's a terrific batsman, Sanchit Bhai. I don't see him being let go for cheap, and I don't see him leaving SRH. But speaking of the current situation of the team, I think this is the right intention that the management has showed. This is the right step towards making sure that the franchise is moving towards success. And I think Kane Williamson should be the captain of the team for 3 4 years to come without him being released.
Certainly, and your answer, you actually personified all the emotions you went through as an SRH fan, all those beautiful memories you had with David Warner leading your side, and I think that is the beauty of this game. You get so attached to a particular player, a particular team, that it is always emotional whenever we have to make such kind of a bold calls. And I think credit goes to SRH management for doing this, and also I really appreciate David Warner for agreeing with this, because as you said that he is what when you talk about SRH, you talk about David Warner, and I think that is why he must have agreed to this fact, because knowing that this is actually the best contribution he could do to SRH in this particular season, knowing that he is actually suffering through all the injuries that currently, and he has always carried the SRH team. So maybe this is the contribution that was needed from a legend like David Warner. So I really hope that you guys have a successful time with Kane Williamson leading for the next couple of years, and I'm sure that all the CSK fans might just be dejected by this news, considering the fact that they have been chasing Kane Mama, as you call him. So really a prospective sign for SRH, and hopefully Rajasthan Royals and SRH rivalry continues over the years, because as you mentioned, the Twitter rivalry, I think that has actually spiced up our rivalry. So it's good to see that, but it is also important to keep all this healthy banter on social media as well. So really would like to acknowledge the fact that both the teams have been competitive in the recent years, and especially Sunrisers Hyderabad for qualifying almost every time since 2015. So that is an immense record, and with this current move, I think they are still not out of contention, I would say. It's unfair to say that Sunrisers Hyderabad are down and out, because as we know that both Rajasthan Royals and Sunrisers Hyderabad are suffering with injuries in the squad. So it's only about time that just there is just one little push that is needed for both our teams to kickstart our season, and who knows, we might just make our way and fight our way into that top four. Maybe warning signs for a team like Mumbai Indians or Punjab Kings, for that matter.
Well, certainly, Sanchit Bhai, it's so great always to get your inputs and your insight into the game, and it was an absolute pleasure having a talk with you today about tomorrow's contest and this entire David Warner Kane Williamson conundrum, and how you related it to the appointment of Sanju Samson as the captain of Rajasthan Royals. Thank you so much for joining us, Sanchit Bhai. We love the Rajasthan Royals. We have great respect for them. So do we love you. It's always great having a talk with you. We always love seeing you smile, and hopefully we have a great game tomorrow, and may the best side win is all I'll say. So hopefully we go well and have a great game tomorrow. Cheers.
Certainly. May the best side win, and I hope that all of you people at Hyderabad and all the Sunrisers Hyderabad fans to keep yourself stay and take care everyone in this cut off times, because cricket, as a cricket family, we all wish for everyone's good health. So till then, I really hope that everyone takes care of themselves and their family.
Certainly, we hope so as well, Sanchit Bhai. Stay safe. Thanks a lot for joining us today, and cheers.
Subscribe to our channel Orange Army Official and click the bell icon for latest updates.